I grew up on the Calloway Ranch in the Texas Panhandle. We owned nearly 15,000 acres of bluegrass and cattle, and pride. That kind of pride that gets inherited like the land. My daddy, Wyatt Calloway, made sure we all knew exactly where we stood, and more important, where they stood. He was the kind of man you respected from a distance and feared up close. 6'4", voice like gravel dragged through molasses, a stare so cold it could curdle milk. The Reddings are poison, he'd say. They smile like kin and cut like snakes. The Reddins owned the ranch across the ridge. More land, more money, older name, and a whole lot more trouble, if you ask my family. I was 17 that summer. I met him at a charity rodeo in Amarillo. I wasn't supposed to be there. My mama said it was a Redding event and she'd sooner swallow glass than see one of us clap for their kind. But I snuck off with my cousin Nora. I just wanted to breathe, to dance, to hear boots hit dust without the weight of our name behind it. He was standing near the edge of the corral, arms folded, that crooked smile like he knew something the rest of us didn't. His name was Colt Redding, and he was beautiful in a quiet, dangerous kind of way. We didn't fall in love that night. That's not how it works, not in real life. But he tipped his hat at me, and I nodded, and in that one stupid little moment the fence between us cracked, just a sliver. I saw him again a week later at the county feed store. He followed me out to my truck, said something about the heat, offered me a sweet tea. I told him I couldn't be seen with him. He said he knew, but he didn't leave. So we met in secret, first just to talk, then to laugh. Then, well, you know where stories like this go. Every meeting was a gamble. We used back roads, empty barns. I lived in the space between lies, told my mama I was helping Nora with her math, but really I was riding into Colt's arms. One night, under the hum of cicadas, he kissed me slow, like he had all the time in the world. His hands were rough, callous from fence work, but gentle, like he was memorizing every inch of me. We tangled up in each other on a saddle blanket, hearts pounding, out there in the dark with the stars watching and the dust rising around us. We didn't whisper promises. We just felt them. Soon that sweet pecker had a hold on me. We talked about running. We talked about staying. We talked about what kind of house we'd build if we could start fresh somewhere else. Montana, maybe. Oregon. Someplace with snow. I asked him once why he kept meeting me. Why risk it? He looked me dead in the eyes and said, because you're the only thing I've ever wanted that wasn't handed to me. It all came down like dry timber in July. My brother Caleb found Colt's bandana in the glove box of my truck. He didn't ask questions. He just stormed out the door and drove straight to the Redding Ranch, gun in his lap. I called Colt. I begged him not to go outside, not to fight back. He said he wouldn't. He said, let me handle it. But pride's a kind of poison too. Spreads fast, blinds you. There was a standoff at the creek bed just past the line where our land ends and theirs begins. Words turned into shouts, shouts into bullets. Nobody got killed, thank God, but Caleb took one to the shoulder. Colt's cousin took one to the leg. The sheriff showed up too late to stop the damage, but early enough to make it look like everyone was to blame. That night I packed a bag, just one, my boots and a pair of jeans. We just left. We drove east toward Tennessee, then north up through Kentucky. We stayed off the highways, kept to motels, and borrowed names. And for the first time in my life, I didn't belong to the Calloways. I just belonged to myself. He said if it came down to it, he'd rather die with me than go back. We didn't have money, no credit cards. We pawned my mama's gold cross to buy gas in Arkansas, slept in the truck with the windows cracked, bugs singing lullabies, and still I'd never felt so alive. We've been gone 5 years now. I still get postcards from Nora. She says the feud's cooled some. Daddy doesn't talk about me. Colt and I bought a little piece of land. We have a little boy now, River. He's got Colt's eyes, steady, dark, knowing. Sometimes he asks where my family is. I tell him they're far away. He asks if they're mad. I don't know how to answer. There are nights I dream about the ranch, the south pasture, the cracked leather of my daddy's saddle. There are mornings I almost call, almost, but I'm afraid they'll hang up. Or worse, that they won't, that they'll say, "You made your bed, Lena. Lie in it." Some wounds never scar over.